Hola, bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about these things called reciprocal actions and how to create them in Spanish. So first let's start with, what are reciprocal actions? Well, reciprocal means something that is shared. So you might have heard of reciprocal numbers, for example. So think of it like a mirroring effect. So in this case, we're talking about an action being reciprocal. So what I'm saying is if you have two or more people, the same action is being done by both parties. So for example, it would be like saying each other in English. So for example, we always hug each other when we say goodbye. So each person here is hugging the other, each other, and that's what makes this a reciprocal action. So now that we know that it's each other in English with a reciprocal action, how do we get this to be expressed in Spanish? Well, it's pretty easy. We actually add se or nos to our conjugations, and that represents the each other in Spanish. So for example, nos abrazamos cuando nos despedimos. We hug each other when we say goodbye to each other. So by corresponding conjugations, what I mean is you'll notice that nos matches with the nosotros conjugation. It's almost like a reflexive verb. But here the nos is not reflexive. We're not all standing there hugging ourselves. It means we're hugging each other. Nos abrazamos. We hug each other. Now to see an example with se dan la mano para saludarse. Se dan la mano means they shake each other's hand. Once again, you'll notice at first glance it sort of looks like this would be a reflexive, but that's not the case here. It means each other. The same thing happens after para, in order to greet each other. But because para means the verb can't be conjugated that follows it, we just tack that se on the end, and it still represents each other in this case. Also be aware, a lot of textbooks, if you're taking Spanish classes, sometimes they leave out the vosotros. You could also use this with os and the vosotros conjugation to get that same meaning as well. So remember with reciprocal actions that you need multiple people involved. So when you're thinking of your verb chart that you've seen for conjugations, it means that we can apply this to items on the right-hand side because everything in this column is plural. You're dealing with multiple people involved. So remember, we've got our nos that goes with our nosotros, os with vosotros, se with it could be ellos or ellas for they, like they shake each other's hand, or it could be an ustedes situation with you. So keep in mind that that's where these come from. There's multiple people, and that's why these are the select pronouns that can be used to mean each other. Of course, let's try some samples. So try to put these into Spanish using the reciprocal action pronouns with the correct conjugations. Pause the video here and give it a try. Alright, let's see how we did. We write to each other by email often. Nos escribimos, so we write to each other, por correo electrónico a menudo. Muy bien. Do you, plural and formal, help each other? ¿Se ayudan ustedes? So the each other comes from this se. And remember, because it's a question, our subjects actually go at the end or right after the verb, which is the same thing in this case. Y'all, plural and formal, respect each other a lot. So this is going to use the vosotros. Os respetáis mucho. We talk to each other on Mondays. Nos hablamos los lunes. Remember, in Spanish, to get on with days of the week, we use definite articles. So it would be los lunes to represent this as a all Mondays sort of situation. Nos hablamos los lunes. And that's all there is to reciprocal actions. They're actually pretty simple, especially if you've seen reflexive verbs before. So again, just be on the lookout for these actions, and that if you see nos, se, or os in front of your verbs or attached if they're infinitives, it could possibly mean each other. So double check the sentence to see if you're reading it correctly. Again, this is super helpful. It's another level to your use of Spanish verbs in a super simple way. Gracias, buena suerte, y nos vemos.